Hey there, everybody. I'm back again with another update on the MPC Moonbase Alpha build. Now, this is coming along really good. Spent the last couple days working on my little miniature Eagles and their launch pads here. Things are working out like I hoped on that, and I'll talk about that. Just wanted to say thank you to all the people that commented and responded to my question in the last video about what to do with this base and how to display the main mission model that we worked on. And I'm going to take your guys' advice and keep it off to the side here. I was kind of going back and forth, like I said, trying to figure out a way it would look decent on top of this, but I do think, that it will distract a little too much away from what we're trying to do here. Now, keep in mind, you guys, that this display is not meant to be a scale model per se. I wanted to, as I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, I wanted to do, a display area for all of my Space 1999 stuff once I finish with it all. And I didn't want it to take up a huge footprint because I'm getting more and more limited in my display room as far as where I can put everything. So this is already 17 by 17 3/4. It's pretty big. But what we're going to do here is we're going to have a little panel off to the side, and that's where the mission control area will go. Now, I also have that kit that I showed you that I'm going to be doing an out-of-the-box review for you guys in a couple days of the nuclear waste disposal area. That's in scale with the 22-inch Eagle, and you also get a 1/24 scale moon buggy. So maybe over in this little side panel here, we can kind of incorporate some of that too, because it's not a full diorama, it's like a 1/2. So it has some really cool features with the lighted, LED lit towers and the nuclear disposal cones and all that. So we might be able to work something into that. Jerry at HDA Model Works has helped me with this, and he's awesome at designing, coming up with concepts and stuff. So we'll come up with something pretty cool in the end. But thanks again for all the feedback. I really appreciate it, you guys, and some great ideas in there. So the last day or two, I've been working on these really cool little Eagles. You can see this one here is the one that they want you to use. This came with the updated release of the kit, and I think they're supposed to be more in scale, but they're just super, super tiny, and they don't have a lot of detail on them. So I decided to go with the slightly larger ones here, and you can see even with that they still fit pretty good onto the launch pads here, and they just have so much more detail, and you can work with them a little bit more. Basically what I did on those to paint them is I did a black, and then I did a dry brush over the top, and then I, did a little bit of a wash on them to bring out some of the little ribbing and some of the, there's some detail on them. And then I did a couple of them as the Rescue Eagles and kind of changed them up a little bit, but it worked out really good. You can see this one here that I talked about, had some fun with that. Tried to simulate the liftoff, and I've got a small little piece of fiber optic in there supporting it. And then I used some of that microfiber that you use for Halloween cobweb decorations. Now that stuff is kind of unruly to work with. It wants to, splay out all over the place. So a little technique I found for making that controllable is you just take a little brush and put some water on it and just start, brushing over it, and the fiber will sort of cling together and start getting less and less stringy, and you can kind of manipulate it a little bit. And once I found out that once it's dry, it's stuck down on there pretty good. It's not going to come off. I won't have to spray anything on it or anything like that. So that worked out really nice. You can see, and we're just going to have the one there launching. But I also put some lighting in these, and I basically drilled little holes in the top, and then I started off using fiber optics, and I decided that was going to be really tedious to do them all that way, so I just used my solar res, and I poured it in from the backside, and our lighting's coming through really good on that. Now that I've cleared this little thing here, I'll be able to go back and finish up the base. I had to go get some more putty and some more materials to finish this off. So in the next day or two, I'll get the base, the surface here all finished off, and it'll really come to life. It looks really boring right now, but once we get some paint shading on there, some extra texture, I think we'll get a really realistic looking lunar surface here. I wanted to show you over here. This is one of the launch pads, and I'll power it up for you, and you can see this is the lighting that will be in it, and it looks really, really cool. I'm really happy with it. Now, I purposely did this different than I'm doing the buildings. I wanted some really nice, sharp pinpoint of light coming out of this, really defined, and looking more of a bright white like it did on the TV show, where the little lights around the perimeter of the pad there. And so the way to go on that was either fiber optics or bringing light straight through. Remember, I'm bringing light through the plastic on the actual buildings of the moon base, so that light is going to look a little more warm, and that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to have a difference between the two, and the lighting coming through those will be a little bit more subtle. but this is going to work out really, really good. You can see I'm doing a little bit of paint detailing on these, and I'll be doing a wash on all these little parts to bring out the little ribbing and everything that's on there, but it's really looking fantastic for the size. Got to keep in mind this thing's smaller than a quarter, so it's pretty tiny. Over here I did a little bit more work on the mission control. I decided to put this little cage on here. Now I didn't glue it. I can take that off if I want, but I think that gives it a little bit more symmetry, and you can still, you know, I like how it's nice and open where you can still easily see all the detail in there. So the idea that I'm kind of going with here is, somebody suggested kind of something like that, is when it's sitting on the final display here, it will be elevated slightly, and we're going to have like some kind of red, like diagonal striping around it or whatever, you know, that looks kind of like a restricted area kind of thing or something. Jerry and I will come up with some graphics on that. It'll look really cool, and kind of the same thing as far as the nuclear disposal area. And that's all going to come together really cool. That kit comes with a really cool 1/24 scale moon buggy in 2 figures too. So like I said, you know, the overall thing is not all going to be same scale. Our comm lock, our stun gun are different scale. We've got the 22-inch Eagle, you know, and so the concept of this is just really to display everything together and not take up a huge amount of space, and not focus so much on everything being, you know, one giant you know, display. If everything was in scale, the comm lock would be barely, it'd be a speck on there. So we kind of keep that in mind. But again, appreciate all the feedback you guys gave, and I'll be back in the next couple days. I'm going to do an out of the kit review for you on that disposal area, which is really a cool kit. With it comes with LED light towers and some really neat little details, a bunch of little figures and everything. So we're going to have some fun with that too after this build. And I'm going to be taking out another Eagle here down the road and do the rescue version. But lots of cool Space 1999 stuff. I'm glad you guys are liking it. Like I said, I've always liked the show, but I really like the hardware. And I don't know why I held off so long on getting these kits, but now that I'm into it, I'm head over heels over it, you guys. So we'll see you next time, everybody. Take care, and happy modeling, everyone.